Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I've been having a bit of an issue. Literally every loading screen today. The game has, as you can see here, reverted back to 4K. I did a bunch of research. The best I could find on how to prevent it was this mod here, called AnyRes. So we'll just go ahead and try that out. We'll see how that works. Seems to work reasonably well. So that bumps it down to 1080p. Perfect. So I guess now I don't have to go back to the menu every time that happens. So that is a benefit. It hasn't happened the last couple of episodes, and I was hoping that it had been fixed, but nope. It happened like 10 times to me this episode. So last episode, we just managed to bring in our second... We just managed to bring in our second mining module, and actually I didn't want to go into the VAB. I wanted to leave here, and instead we will go in over at the tracking station, and we're going to go over to the mining station here because we need to get our secondary module mining as well. So let's get that operational, and then I'd like to send up an ore storage module, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. Now we'll get that loaded in. Perfect. And I think we will go ahead and make sure that we are fully fueled here. We're not currently fully fueled. I'm hoping that we have enough fuel in the station to fill this up. If we don't, we'll probably have to wait on this. But let's see. That's all 5 fuel tanks there. This fuel tank is already empty. This one is not. So we'll go ahead and send that on out, and we'll time warp while we do so. Excellent. And we'll just time warp a little bit faster here. You can see the center of mass shifting. We're moving a lot of fuel. And looks like that is enough. Just barely, but it is enough. We're basically out of fuel on the station though, so we're definitely going to need to get these mining operations up. We no longer need these pinned open, so that is perfect. And we are going to go ahead and... Actually, this is about a reasonable time to go ahead and do this. So we're going to undock. AER, you're kind of in the way. Go over there. It will be nice when we go up to 4K. We'll have more room. But unfortunately, my graphics card is not ready for that, and there are no graphics cards on the planet. So, you know, that's the way it is. We're just going to get a little bit of distance here with our reaction control systems. There we go. And let's go ahead and switch this over to surface retrograde. And we don't exactly care where we end up landing. We will extend our landing legs. Excellent. And let's go ahead and burn. Goodbye, station. We will be back. So let's cut our velocity here. We're going to be a little ways away from our science outpost, but that's fine. Again, I don't exactly care where we land, as long as it is on reasonably flat terrain. That's what we need here. So we are beginning our mining operations with our second mining craft here. Let's go ahead and bring down our surface speed a little bit. We do, of course, need to have our landing information here, which we are currently going to land. If we were to stop this right now, this would be where we would land. I want to land a little bit closer here. This is looking reasonable. We are going to be, I think, outside of this crater, though, for sure, any way we slice it. Yeah, we definitely are. I think. We might be just on the edge of it. This is, of course, the moon's far side crater, and we're going to be landing on here and beginning our mining operations just a little bit. For now, I'm mostly interested in killing our horizontal speed. We will deal with vertical speed soon enough. Excellent. So we're currently moving at about 100 meters per second, and 200 meters per second is how quick we were moving. Yes, our vertical speed is increasing due to gravity, but we are mostly interested right now in the horizontal speed. So I'm just going to go over to the horizon. 120 meters per second horizontal now. That's great. Make that 90. So this burn is almost done. Make that 50 meters per second on the horizon. 30. 20. 10. Okay, and we'll just burn a little bit here. 1 meter per second, sure. Good enough. That'll be easy enough to bleed off. And we're coming down, looks like inside of this crater here. That's actually not too bad. That should be nice and flat in there. Yeah, I'm okay with this. So we're going to suicide burn in about 2 minutes, looks like. So we'll just warp towards that. And down we go. It'll be about a 1 minute, 37 second suicide burn. Okay. Suicide burn in about 15. Is this going to be flat enough? It's going to be right about here. Well, we'll find out. If we need to move, we can do that. It's not a big deal. Suicide burn as of now. Actually, that was slightly early. Gonna cut it. We'll burn it now. There we go. Much, much better. So down we go. Yeah, it's looking like we're going to land right there, which I don't necessarily like. I'm going to get us a little bit of speed over this way and just try to push us over a bit. You can see here where our landing marker is. It's just visible. There we go. And we'll go ahead and kill that now. Yeah, that's going to be a better location. Our suicide burn countdown is currently is increasing. This is what we want. We don't want it negative. That's what we don't want, is we don't want that negative. So we can actually go ahead and bring this down a little bit more. There we go. Currently moving at about 100 meters per second. Suicide burn countdown is currently 0.7 seconds. Once it gets up to 1, we will cut the throttle again and burn. There we go. Moving at about 40 meters per second here. Our suicide burn countdown is starting to get a lot more sensitive, which is about what we expect. And pretty soon here, we're not going to care about the suicide burn countdown anymore. In fact, we're starting to get to that point right now. Let's go ahead and go into stability assist mode. We're about 300 meters off the ground, and I'm just going to start us with a slow deceleration. We're moving at 18 meters per second. We are 100 meters off the ground, and I'm going to slow us down quite a bit more. It's a bit tilted here, but I think it'll be okay. Are we fine? We're fine. I'm a little concerned about what happens when we retract our landing legs, but let's see if we have to here. I think we'll have to. Does this have ground contact? No. Yep, as expected then. So we're going to go ahead and retract this and see what happens. If we have to take off again, we will, and we'll head over towards this flatter territory. Let's see what happens. Okay, off we go. We're going to head to the flatter territory, as I said. And we're going to head off like this and do something like that. We'll flip over to retrograde. And we'll get ready for that suicide burn countdown. Excellent. This will be absolutely no problem, and we'll burn this in about 20 seconds. It won't be too much of a suicide burn length. In 10. 5. And we'll burn this now. I should probably extend our landing legs here and retract our drill. That would usually help. Okay, we'll go ahead and let this come down a bit. Actually, I'm just going to burn this like so. Bring it down. 6 meters per second. 3, 2, 1 meter per second. And let's just let... Oh, that was the wrong button. That was the wrong button. That was the very wrong button. Okay. I hit the Windows key, and it tabbed out of the game. So we're just going to have to bring this down. That's fine. Suicide burn countdown in 10 seconds. And we should be flatter here, I think. Flatter. I'm not necessarily claiming that this is flat, but flatter. Okay. Go ahead and do that. And we should be good here. A little bit of horizontal speed. Okay. Let's see how this looks. So this is not strictly speaking flat. Okay. Off we go. Once again. Not that way. We are going off this way. Okay. We'll go there. We'll switch over to retrograde. Hopefully that's flatter. It's very hard to tell how flat the terrain is here. But that just wasn't flat enough. Okay, so suicide burn countdown in about 40 seconds. I'm going to physics warp here as we proceed towards that. Okay, I'm going to stop the physics warp. And we are going to extend our legs. And we'll burn this. Now, we've burned a lot of fuel here. This has to be our last attempt. But this is definitely flatter. I can tell by the lack of clipping here. Okay, so we're moving at about 4 meters per second right now, and let's just begin a slow deceleration. Something along the lines of this. This is much flatter. It's not flat, per se, but it is flatter. Hopefully that's flat enough. That's not great at all. Okay, this is very awkward. We need to move these legs up is what we need to do. I really thought that this would have ground contact. I really did. We can't adjust the hydraulics in these struts as well, unfortunately. What does that deploy shielded do? You know, I don't actually know. I don't actually know what that does. But yeah, unfortunately we cannot get our drilling going here. These legs do need to be moved up a little bit. There's no doubt about that. And it's just that this terrain is still not flat enough. This is really, really unfortunate because we're going to have some fuel issues. For sure. Unless we can figure out a way to do this. I'm pretty sure if we tip this over... I mean, maybe we should just trash this one and send up a different module, because we basically need perfectly flat terrain right now for this to work. And I would like this to be a little more robust. For sure. Holding here. I'm very concerned about long-term holding, especially when night comes. I guess we can give it a go. And maybe just only load the craft in the day. That might be the best option here. However, let's go ahead and head back to the Space Center, and I want to make an adjustment to that craft, because we obviously need to change things. That is a very, very clear thing. So we're going to head into the VAB. And now that we're in the VAB, we're going to open up the mining module here, and I want to open up this version of it. And obviously, we need to raise these legs. by a reasonable chunk. We should raise them up to about there. And then if we have that and it deploys... Okay, that should work. Okay, so that should solve that issue for any future mining modules, which we probably will have future mining modules. And we'll accept that, and then in the meantime, let's create ourselves a new craft here. And once again, this is going to be a Probodobodyne Octo. It is going to be an unmanned craft. And this is just going to be an ore storage machine. So, let's go ahead and give ourselves something along the lines of we're going to need some RCS. That's 750. That is more RCS than we need. We need, like, this one, I think? That's 400. That is still more RCS than we need. 750. Where's the 120? This one. That's the one that we need. Excellent. And we're going to give ourselves some RCS thrusters. We'll go for this thruster block. Quad couple that. We're going to need a docking port on this. So let's put in a Clampotron, not Junior, a regular Clampotron right there, like that. And then below this, we are going to put in our ore storage, which I believe, I never remember where that is. Okay, so this is the best that we've got for our holding tanks, sadly. So we're going to do something like this, but this is of course going to go up empty, so this is not going to be very heavy. What we're going to do is we are going to use an octagonal strut, which apparently works for fuel flow. And we're going to strut that in right here, like so. I don't know why that works for fuel flow, but apparently it does. And then we're going to put on additional tanks, about like this. I do want to change the exact angle that they're at and have it be something along the lines of that. Okay, we may actually, because of the thrusters here, I think this is fine. We're never going to decouple this, and it'll just be something along the lines of that. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. There we go. Something along the lines of that. We'll strut this together, like so, and then we'll strut it in up here as well. And I'm going to do that like from here into... This is awful. That's not where that's going to go. It's not going to work. We're just going to do that to strut that in. Okay, and then we're going to need some decouplers here. So we will put in a TD12. There we go. And then this is, of course, going to be aerodynamic nose cones. Like so. And I guess we may as well put one in over here as well, since we're going to have it. So let's put in a TD... No, we can't really put a decoupler here. Can we? No, that's not going to work. Okay, so first things first, I want to test ore flow. So we're going to put some ore in this bottom tank for each of these, and we're going to launch this. Of course, it's not going to go anywhere, but I want to make sure that the ore is flowing through those octagonal struts. Fuel does, so hopefully this will. Ah, it changed the resolution. There we go. We're in 4K. Sweet. Let's change that back. There we go. Problem solved. We'll get rid of that. And we are going to go ahead and test this fuel flow. So let's go ahead and pin that open and then pin that open. And yes, the fuel flow works just fine. We'll revert that. Fantastic. And this is going to be able to store a whole lot of ore. Now, we may want to have a couple of docking ports on this. And in fact, I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and put on regular docking ports in quad couple here. Maybe up here as well. I think I'm just going to do it here. Okay, so we'll do that. And then down here, this is going to immediately expand. And we're going to have, well, actually we need engines on this, don't we? We do. I mean, we have the RCS, but that's probably... Well, this doesn't weigh very much, right? Like, what is our current mass on this? 23 tons. Like, this is completely empty, right, of the ore. Well, actually, not this. Now the mass is 11 tons. So yeah, this is going to be very heavy when full, but it is not heavy right now. RCS might be enough, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to just put a very small T400 on this, and we're going to call that good. If I can find the T400, because I'm apparently entirely blind. There we go. More than one way to do things. So there's the T400. And we're just going to put in a Terrier to drive that. Like so. That does mean that we can get away with a little bit more ore storage here. Like this. Which means that I'm going to move these struts down to here. Like that. Excellent. And this will, of course, be our ore storage module, or orage, as I like to call it. And we're going to put in, of course, a TD12 decoupler here. There we go. And then we'll put in, say, just a couple of Jumbo 64s down here. Something like this. Get away with another one of these? No. Not quite. How will this look with a mainsail in terms of thrust to weight? Do we need to make this heavy lift? I doubt it. 1.49, so about right. It's a little on the low side. That, and then these decouplers will be in that state. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit less fuel, and we can't do the fuel transfer trick that we did before. So that's definitely something to consider here. Maybe we do want to heavy lift this just to have that extra push, because we don't have the fuel up here. I think we should go ahead and do that. Let's do a radial decoupler here. We only want to bicouple this. We don't need any more than that. And we'll stack this in somewhere up here, and we'll just put on a couple of polluxes like this. And of course, we will move them right on down to be attached right up at the top. Okay, and then we should probably move the actual decoupler. And I want to space it out a little bit. And we'll just place it down about like that. There we go. We will put in aerodynamic nose cones on this. And this should be more than enough heavy lift. Yeah, 1.9 thrust to weight is starting to look very good on that front. We've got this joint here that I'm concerned about. That joint is often fairly weak, so we will go ahead and do a strut connector from this nose cone over here up into here, like so. And then we'll also do a strut connector down here just to provide full rigidity to the rocket. Perfect. And then we know that we were a little bit overstable previously, so let's look at where we want to actually attach these. Place it there for now, but that's probably not the ultimate position where we want it to be. This is not terrible, but let's just move it up a little bit like this. As soon as these detach, weight will shift up. So, and as we fly, weight will shift up as well. So we'll need to be cognizant of that as we take this up. Okay, we'll go ahead and save that, and let's give this a flight. It should work just fine, in theory. We'll see if it actually does. It's going to be very, very interesting, for sure. Program is not responding, and we'll wait for it to respond. Look at that. It goes right on back to 4K. So we're going to have to hop over into the resolution changer and change that on over. There we go. Throttle up, SAS on. We don't need RCS. I just realized there's an issue here. And that issue is that we are indeed lacking something. And the thing that we are lacking is an attitude control system. I'm going to place that in up here, and we're going to have an advanced inline stabilizer like that. There we go. That should do the trick. We'll save that, and now we'll go ahead and launch this. No attitude control. I mean, we had the RCS, but I don't want to use RCS for that. So let's go ahead and get this guy into orbit. And we're back in 4K. Great. It sure will be nice when I get my hands on a graphics card. Okay, throttle up, SAS on, and let's go ahead and launch this. I want to double check our staging. Yeah, looks good. Off we go. So far, this flight is very solid. We're going to be getting going pretty quick here. We're going to head on over. Heading is a bit off. We don't have a KER on this, but we don't need it. It's okay. Ooh, we are tipping. We are tipping. Okay. That's fine. That just indicates that we're too top heavy. Okay. We're going to head back to the tracking station then, or actually to the space center. Oh, it's just going to revert it. Yeah, that's true. That is true. So let's just revert it ourselves then, back to vehicle assembly. How much did that vehicle cost? Let's just go ahead and... I didn't claim that it was a... simulated flight. I mean, kind of it probably should have been, but I didn't say it. So we're going to go ahead and remove 74,000 here. So 100,000 removed plus another 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, we'll call that good. And I will fix this issue in the next episode. I was planning on putting this into orbit and then docking it up next episode, but we'll just have to do all of that next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.